Hey guys, so in this video I just want to talk about what I think we have left to be fulfilled as far as scripture goes. And if there's anything that you can think of that still hasn't been fulfilled yet, please let me know. But it looks like the only thing left that needs to happen is that we had a fulfillment of Daniel 9:24 and Daniel 9:25. So there are parts of Daniel 9:26 and 27 that still haven't been fulfilled yet. So the destruction of the city and the hallowed thing hasn't happened yet. And the Passover and the tribute ceasing hasn't happened yet. I'm guessing that happens at the same time. And also, maybe even the peace and safety, sudden destruction maybe all three of these things will happen at the same time. And that's 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them. So that's what it looks like to me. And like I said, all three of these things could happen suddenly all at once. So here's the calendar again. And this is where we are right now. And this is what we have coming up. Again, this is the new moon on the 11th, and this is the first crescent on the 12th. We have some scriptural alignments that happen here on the 11th and 12th and 13th. And then we have some more alignments on the 19th, 20th, and 21st. And then we have that extreme rapture tribulation watch from the 20th through the 22nd. And that's here on the chart as well. So that from the 20th to the 22nd, right here, that 3-day period is just a big watch date for the start of the tribulation and the rapture, the escape. And I've gone over that in my other videos. So I have a lot of stuff linked below. So if you want to understand what this is and all of that, it's all linked below this video in the description box. But that's what's coming up. And then we have Passover starting here on the evening of the 25th. And then we have Obama. Obama is scheduled to visit Jerusalem on March 20th is the day that we're told that he would be arriving. So it says in this article in the New York Times that the Israeli news media is reporting that Obama would arrive on March 20th. So that is Nisan 10 if you count from the new moon. So the way that the Israelites would count their calendars, and they would start their months either on the new moon or the first crescent. So the new moon is right here on March 11th. And so the 10th day of Nisan would be right here on the 20th. And the 10th day of Nisan was when Jesus rode into Jerusalem on the donkey. And Jesus, according to legend, according to what we're told, and he was crucified on the 14th day of Nisan. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So if you're, again, this is not the standard Jewish calendar, but if you start, because I think that their Nisan 10 is the 21st, because I think they're starting their Passover, standard Passover right here, and it's a day after what it would be if it was starting on the new moon. Okay, so they're starting it on the first crescent. So, but if you start the month on the new moon, then Nisan 10 is March 20th. and Nisan 14 is March 24th, the evening of March 24th. If you start it on the first crescent, then Nisan 10 would be right here on the 21st, and the first day of Passover would be right here. The point is, Obama is scheduled to arrive in Jerusalem on the day that Jesus rode into Jerusalem on the donkey. And remember, he was crucified on the 14th day of Nisan. So I just find it to be very alarming, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word. But when we look at the pattern of what has happened, we see that in February, which was the 7th month from that first fulfillment that we had of Daniel 12:11 in August, the 7th month was in February, and we had all of these alignments. So I'll show you the chart. It's a little easier to understand. Here was this fulfillment. It happened on a full moon. And so this is the first moon, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. The 7th moon from this fulfillment was on January 27th of 2013. So that would make this atonement, and then this would have been the first day of Sukkot, and then this would have been the 7th day of Sukkot and the 7th day of Passover. I've explained this in my other videos. Check the links below this video if you want to understand what all of this means. But the point is, we had an 8.0 earthquake here, which was atonement, and then we had the Pope's resignation here, which was the first, which corresponded to the first day of Sukkot. And then we had the passage of the asteroid and the meteor that hit Russia here, right here, in alignment with the 7th day of Sukkot and the 7th day of Passover. So we had an asteroid passing over on the 7th day of Passover. So what I'm wondering is, and then we had an alignment here on President's Day and on the full moon. Again, another alignment here. So what I'm wondering is, are we looking at a similar course of events in March? Is that what this warning is about? So the way it looks in March is that this would be trumpets right here on the 11th, 12th. And I've explained before that the reason we have a 3-day window for atonement is because there's debate over whether to start on the new moon or the first crescent. So that's why there's automatically a 2-day window, whether it's the new moon or the first crescent. But there's also a 2-day window because their days start in the evening and last to the evening of the next day. Do you see what I mean? So if we start on the first, on the new moon, then atonement would start here and last until here. So it would start the evening of the 19th and last until the evening of the 20th. But if we start the first day of the month on the first crescent, then atonement would start here on the evening of the 20th until the evening of the 21st. So that's why there's a 3-day window for atonement here, because this is a new moon. There wasn't a 3-day window in February because we were talking about a full moon. So it was just a 2-day window. It was the evening of this day until the evening of this day. You see what I'm saying? It's a full moon, and there's no debate over that. The full moon, the moon is full when it's full. But this, there is debate. Do you start on the new moon or the first crescent? So that's why there's a 3-day window here. But are we looking at something similar to what happened last month? So are we looking at an earthquake between March 19th through March 21st? That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if it's going to match February. And are we looking at the next thing that we had was the meteors. We had those meteors on the 7th day of Sukkot. So that would be here on Easter, from the 31st until the 1st, until the 2nd. 31st, 1st, and 2nd. That's the 7th day of Sukkot window. So that's what I'm wondering, is if it's going to parallel what we saw in February. But maybe it won't parallel that at all. Maybe it will parallel something else entirely. And what I'm hoping that it's going to be is I'm hoping that it will be the blessed day, because according to the scripture, we were supposed to have a blessed day on the Feast of Trumpets in 2012 on the 16th. So after 7 months, that would land us exactly. Now that was a new moon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So exactly 7 months from the Feast of Trumpets, the blessed day, Daniel 12:12, that fulfillment of scripture that happened. Exactly 7 months from that lands us on March 11th, because this is a new moon. This is not a first crescent. This is a new moon. The 1335th day was a new moon, not the first crescent. It was the new moon. And March 11th is the new moon. So just a little bit of hope, that's all. I'm not trying to give false hope. I'm just trying to figure out what all of this means, because it's pretty clear it means something, right? I mean, I know you guys are with me on that. I can't figure out why there's so many people that still don't understand. But what are we supposed to do? I don't know. I'm not. Obviously, if you're living in New York or Jerusalem, I mean, get the heck out of there. If I can tell you that if I was living in Jerusalem, I would be packing up my stuff right now and getting out of there. And I can tell you that if I was in New York City, I would have been out of there a long time ago. I would have been out of there back in December when I was seeing the visions of the nuclear event. I'm not the only one that's been seeing visions of the nuclear event. My visions come true. I have proof on YouTube. I'm not just spouting this off. So that's all I can say. If you're in New York or Jerusalem, I can't speak for you. If I was in New York City or Jerusalem, I'd be getting out of there now. So if anybody that's wanting to know what's the point, what do we do? That's the point. That's the point, okay? So I hope you guys are doing well, and I'm not trying to freak anyone out or anything. That's not the goal of this. I'm just trying to understand, because it's just unbelievable and amazing, the stuff that has been going on. So I'm just trying to understand this, just along with everybody else. I hope you guys are doing well. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.